Here I am today with Levison Wood, who is on Channel 4 walking in the Himalayas. And Levison is a best-selling author. He was in the parachute regiment. You've had publications, mate. They've been on Channel 4. They've been on BBC, National Geographic and CNN. Today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about Levison's tips on success. And P Company, mate. How hard was P Company? You in the paras for a bit?
I was in the paras. I did 5 years in the regular army, and P Company was, hard as nails, as you'd expect. But I was 22, I think, 23 maybe. Peak physical fitness, and it was actually a really good, fun thing to do. As hard as it was, I remember that. Looking back at that, doing it with my mates, it was great.
What was the hardest part of P Company?
The stretcher race, the 5 miler. That was hardcore.
I've heard that. First things first, mate.
Yeah.
You're an outdoor person. Bear Grylls is an outdoor person. Have you got to the stage where you're drinking your own piss yet, mate?
All I'll say is I was in 3 para. No comment.
No comment. You've probably done a lot worse than that, mate. What started the adventure stuff off with you? You watched Indiana Jones, mate. You were watching a boulder coming after you and you thought, that's for me.
Pretty much, actually. I've always wanted to be in the world of exploration ever since I was a kid. And I remember, as a 6-7-year-old, just thinking that there's more to life than the sort of the 9 to 5. And so I spent the rest of my time, thinking, what can I do? So I, over the course of my teenage years and then, developing it into the army, it was skills like photography, writing. Did my time in the army, had an amazing time, but then decided that I wanted to take the plunge and do something new. So I became a full-time travel writer, photographer, and that led on to being a professional explorer.
We talked earlier about you basically seen somebody and you thought he wasn't that good, and you thought I can do this better than he can do it. I
think the thing that stops a lot of people doing what they really want to do is ultimately confidence and not feeling that you're good enough to do something. When I left the army, I set up a company that specialised in logistics and security that took film crews out to remote places. And I saw on quite a few occasions when people fluffing their lines or, just not being fit enough for the job.
I can't believe anyone would do that, mate. The reason I say that is because I fluffed the flipping whole last recording. But you know what?
These things happen, don't they?
What is a big part of succeeding and achieving your goals, mate?
Well, it's determination, sticking at it, and just persistence.
That's it, and it's coming back from failure
as
well, mate.
Bouncing back.
Bouncing back from failure, that's what we like. How did you feel with the old mud pack on your face, mate? You were like David Beckham there, weren't you?
That wasn't expected. I went in there for a haircut and came out with a full facial. So, that's the great thing about exploration is you just don't know what's around the next corner. I'm on these journeys, sometimes in the wilderness, sometimes in towns and cities. And it's all about being open to new experiences, and anything that happens, happens. It's great.
And what did happen? You almost got killed, mate. I'm looking at a goddamn ghost here, people.
Almost, yeah.
So you were on a walk in the Himalayas. I seen it the other day, and your car went off the road, and you're almost killed.
Yeah. Well, the irony is, on a walking expedition, I got to one town. I had to get a taxi to go to a guest house just up the way, and the brakes failed. Top of a mountain, went straight off a cliff, and a 150-meter fall. So. Pretty horrific. I thought I was going to die. Luckily, I didn't. Just came away with a broken arm, so I've got my arms full of metal these days. But it's better than the alternative. So very lucky.
It's very lucky indeed, mate. And you broke your arms. You broke your ribs.
Broke my arm. My shoulder's out of joint, so I'm going to have another operation there.
And you're ready for the next expedition?
Ready for the next one.
Mate.
Bring it on.
He's ready for the next expedition, people. And look at that. He's got the Clint Eastwood boots there. Are you a bit of a gunslinger, mate?
Well, I like a bit of Wild West.
You like a bit of Wild West, mate. Oh, that's what I wanted to ask you. I didn't ask you in the other one, mate. Levison, what sort of name is that, mate? What sort of name is Levison?
Good question. It's actually my dad's name and his dad's name, and I'm the 5th one in the family, so it's just been a family tradition for 100 years.
And are you going to keep that tradition going, mate?
We'll see. We'll see. There's actually, since it went out on the TV, 6 people have decided to name their kids after me, which is quite a privilege.
Jesus.
I know.
That's, God, my God. That is, mate. You could have little young explorers, mate.
All over the place.
How do you define success?
I think success is down to a number of factors. I think it involves hard work. It's about putting the hours in. If you want to be a success in business, an entrepreneur, you've got to be prepared to work every single day, very long hours. Likewise, you need the discipline to know what's good for you and when to stop at the same time, and to have that stability in your life. It's about having a plan. It's about sitting down and actually drawing a timeline and putting things into practice, not leaving too much to chance. But ultimately, it's about taking risk, and it's about knowing that without risk, you're not going to be a success. You've got to take risks, and there's no way around that.
How important is it to be associated with the right people?
I think that is also incredibly important. You've got to build a team. You've got to make sure, surround yourself by great people. Whether it's your...
That's why you're here with me, isn't it?
Exactly, it is.
That's why I'm here with you, mate. Yeah. When you were doing the walk, did you actually feel like running at any stage?
Most of the time not, because it's it's all about pacing yourself and having the endurance. But actually, when I finished the Nile after 9 months of long walking, the last day, I tell you what, I've never run so fast in my life. I just wanted to get straight to the Mediterranean Sea.
Fantastic. How do people become like an adventurer if they're sort of sitting at home there and they're thinking, I'd like to do that sort of thing, and they're in their 9-to-5 job, and how do they break out of that?
Well, I think you can start with baby steps. Get away at the weekends, go and climb some hills in Wales or wherever else. Likewise, do something a bit more adventurous on your time off. Whether that's just just doing something different, I think is important. If you want to make it your career, then you've got to be prepared to take some massive risks, enormous sacrifices to do that. So you've got to think long and hard. Is it really what you want? Because it sounds glamorous, but it isn't always.
What sort of risks would you think, would you look back and you think to yourself, oh, that's a risk I took? And
the biggest risk for me actually was probably when I left the army. I didn't know what to do. I had no plan. I had no money. And so I was basically, staying on mates' sofas for 2 years. 3 years in fact. So I was, effectively homeless, living hand to mouth, day-to-day basis, taking any job that came along, whether that was a bit of wedding photography here and there, writing articles for 5p a word. Really doesn't not enough to pay the bills, which is why I couldn't afford to have any bills. So I was living like a total vagrant, but using every opportunity I could to travel, and that really gave me the experience, the credibility, and everything else, and the contacts, most importantly, to then make it my full-time job. And luckily, it paid off. But it was a risk. It was 3 years of incredible sacrifice to get there.
That's interesting, because you see, with a lot of successful people, are high achievers. They do things very opposite to the normal sort of people, and I bet there were people there that were like, Lev's on his mate's sofa now, and I'm a banker in the city, and blah blah blah. And now you've just gone screaming past them all, mate. Now what I'm doing today, people, is I'm drinking honey, right? You've kindly got me some coffee with honey, mate.
Yeah,
and normally,
it's better for you than sugar.
Better than sugar, mate. But normally people go down to Tesco or Asda or something like that, and they get the honey. Where did this honey come from, mate?
I actually got this from central Nepal. We had to go climbing up these cliffs, and the local guys, they actually went to get it straight from the honeycomb. Death-defying honey. They call them the honey hunters.
That's insane, mate.
Tastes good though, eh?
Your next it is very good. Your next adventure.
My next adventure, I'm afraid I can't tell you. Top secret.
All right, mate. You got a website?
Yeah, www.levisonwood.com. Got Twitter and Facebook. And follow me. I know you already do.
Follow Levison Wood, and you've got 2 books here. You've got Walking the Nile, which is Levison's first adventure, and how can people see that?
I think it's still on 4OD, so you can still see it on the internet.
Yeah.
The documentary, but obviously there's a lot more in the book.
And the other one, I'm laughing because my other backup camera now has just fallen on the floor, and I tell you what, I'm learning a lot from this interview. I can tell you that. Don't record in 5K because it only goes for 5 minutes, but we're learning a lot today. Levison Wood, Walking the Himalayas. Fantastic book again. Can you sign this for one of our people?
I'd love to.
And there we do. If you click on the like button, people, Lev will sign it now, and then I'll send it out. I'll get my son Leon to pick a winner, and we'll scroll down, and we'll pick a winner, and I'll send it out. Levison Wood, it has been an absolute honour and a pleasure.
Cheers,
Thanks
Mark.
very much.
Thanks
mate.
very much.